The split. I have been feeling intensely since last Wednesday how we are moving deeper into the higher timelines, and at the same time, those who are choosing to stay in the old timeline are sinking lower. This is causing an ever-widening gap which will lead to a total split in times ahead. At the moment we can still see each other, but often they cannot hear you anymore, as there seems to be a thick glass partition between you. This is because the old world dimension is getting frenetic, and chase for more and more consumption, and whatever else is getting more frenetic too. While those who have moved on now carry that inner calmness, the inner peace, and the expanded heart, seek divinity in all, and everyone, and everything. When I was transmitting Lord Melchizedek, who is truly now making his presence felt very powerful, and is my ascended master, with no prior knowledge, in a conversation with a friend who is a war zone, the message which came through was loud and clear. The highest path is the path of love, and there is no other path. Become the love which heals the world, live it, be it, and walk your talk. When love is fully present, then inner peace is fully present. The seventh dimensional solar plexus chakra, when fully activated, hold divine peace, divine power, and divine wisdom. It is no accident that our very gut feelings are attached to the same chakra. Therefore, all those insecurities, all those self-made dramas, all those false belief systems, all those psychic daggers which thought sent into the other people's solar plexus, which acted like a psychic pump in the old 3D, has now been showing up. It is all part of the purification process, so we finally realize that we are creating our own reality, and at this moment, this is so important to be fully aware of. The solar plexus links to the heart, and, as the higher heart is also fully activated, this means the clearing of the lower houses, in the highest degrees. When our energy fields are crystal clear, we become crystal clear. We have nothing to hide anymore, we are authentic and real. The love we radiate forth is read by others as we become harmless to all living beings. It becomes a way of life and living. We live oneness and unity. Yet all oneness and unity, as well as love, peace, and harmony, starts within. This is where the crucial shift is happening, and where the timelines are splitting ever wider apart. It reminds me of the Rift Valley, which is splitting off from the main African continent, busy forming its own continent. The same is happening with humanity right now. It is all love, for divine love has given every soul the choice to ascend or not to ascend. It is every soul's own choice which determines the outcome. No soul has ever lost, and in their own time, which may still take many other existences, they will get there. Divine love is never ending. Hakann, respond appropriately to lower consciousness people. My dearest brothers and sisters, this is Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. On your world there's a model called spiral dynamics. It describes the development of stages of consciousness. It's reasonably accurate at the lower stages, although it won't apply to everyone perfectly. It's also not very accurate at the higher stages, and therefore I won't bother to describe the highest stages of spiral dynamics here. According to the spiral dynamics model, you have to go through each of these stages in turn. So you cannot reach a higher stage without first having gone through each of the previous stages in turn. That said, most people will go through some of the earlier stages during childhood, so it's entirely possible that people reach adulthood at a stage somewhere in the middle. This is my slightly non-standard interpretation of the main spiral dynamic stages. Read. At this stage people simply use force or violence to get what they want. Your average violent criminal on the street is like this. Most people are briefly like this when they are small children, and then grow out of it. Blue. This is a reaction to the previous states. In this stage people understand that society is awful if everyone just steals or murders at will. So at this stage people are no longer violent, but they are dogmatic and intolerant. They insist that they are right and virtuous, and everyone who disagrees with them is wrong and evil, and in their ideal world everyone else would conform to their worldview and way of life. Or at least in their ideal world other people wouldn't have the right to say things that are hateful or harmful or blasphemous. blue stage people may or may not be actively preachy. The stereotypical modern American left-winger is blue consciousness, which doesn't mean that everyone on the left is like this. The stereotypical religious zealot is like this, though most religious people aren't zealots. A right-wing person is like this if they believe that implementing capitalism solves every single problem, and all the evil in the world comes from either the Jews or from the left. Orange, this is a reaction to the previous stage. In this stage people understand that it's bad if people are forced to conform and obey. People at this stage prioritize freedom, science, material abundance, and individuality. They understand that other people are individuals too, and hence it's not productive to label your own group as good, and go on a crusade against everyone who disagrees with you, or go on a crusade against entire groups of people. Orange people believe in live, and let live. This is the stage of consciousness of the stereotypical American. Green, this is a reaction to the previous stage. In this stage people understand that society won't be the best place to live in if everyone prioritizes individuality, science, and personal profit. So these are the money is the root of all evil, and all you need is love people. These people value community, spirituality, unity, societal livability, non-polarization, and being loving towards people. Free speech absolutism is green. It's green to argue that the universe is about light and dark, and therefore we shouldn't stand up to bad actors. A green person may argue that they themselves aren't bothered by people being verbally aggressive, and so we shouldn't stop verbal aggression, without realizing that it's easy for them, because they're a bystander, and it's a lot harder to not be bothered as the person who is being targeted by the verbal aggression. Plus, less firmly grounded people also deserve to not be subject to harassment or aggression. Left-wingers who just follow the dominant culture, engage in identity politics, and view everyone who disagrees with them as evil are blue consciousness. Left-wingers who have been individualists and have worked hard to make a good living, and who have seen the limitations of material life and are now more spiritually focused are green consciousness left-wingers. Traditionally, this spiral dynamics model says that the green stage of this model is exclusively left-wing, with right-wingers being forever doomed to remain at the previous stage until they become enlightened left-wingers. I don't think that's an accurate description of reality. Now, green is concerned with societal fairness and societal livability, but that doesn't necessarily need to come out in left-wing ways. The right-wing version of that is people wanting safety, freedom, opportunity, low taxes, lack of censorship, lack of government overreach, some caretaking of people who genuinely are unable or too old to work, and some care for the livability of the environment. Don't poison all the rivers. So the green stage right-winger wants a livable environment for everyone, from the right-wing perspective, safety, opportunity, etc. Whereas the previous orange stage right-winger is only really concerned with his own and his family's well-being and prosperity. An orange stage right-winger is willing to poison a river for personal profit, but a green stage right-winger isn't. Yellow, this is a reaction to the previous stage. In this stage people understand that just singing Kumbaya and being anti-money isn't how you build a thriving society. Yellow people aren't in resistance to money. At Yellow, people finally understand that there are good and bad aspects of all the previous stages. Some have more than others, but still. For example, a Yellow person understands that a blue society is stable and orderly, and everyone knows what to expect and what is expected of them. For those people who happen to naturally fit into the blue society, a blue society can be a quite good place to live in. However, blue society is awful for those who don't fit into it. Yellow integrates the previous stages, which means that Yellow understands that you need some amount of people with guns, police, and military, because otherwise bad actors will commit violence against innocents. And Yellow accepts the blue idea that enforcing a basic level of order is necessary for things to function, and for things to be livable. And Yellow accepts the orange and green perspective, that free speech is very important indeed, and that censorship is bad. Yellow integrates the previous stages, and so yellow stage people are able to convincingly argue for free market capitalism, in a way that a right-winger would approve of, and are also able to convincingly argue for socialism in a way that a left-winger would approve of. That said, while a yellow stage person understands all perspectives, a yellow stage person may absolutely have preferences and strong opinions. In fact, a yellow stage person will more often than a green stage person just simply say that one option is worse than another, or that a certain person is just wrong. Yes, sure, theoretically all perspectives are valid, but so long as you're inhabiting physical bodies with physical needs, some things are just more effective than other things. At the same time, people at the yellow stage can think in more nuanced ways, beyond black or white. People at lower levels of consciousness often engage in false binaries, falsely claiming that the only alternative to what they want is some extreme option that is obviously horrible. Or people at lower levels of consciousness characterize literally any alternative to their preferred option as being so inherently awful that it shouldn't even be considered. Their option is great, and any alternative is communism, or is censorship, or is fascism, or is unspiritual, or is lower consciousness, etc. Modern Earth society has become so complex that only yellow consciousness people will be able to build structures or create ways of living that work in the long term, and that work for more people than just for one specific group. Conversely, a blue person will push for society that's awful for those who don't naturally fit into it. An orange person will push for society that's great at first. However, it will become alienating, and unequal and unstable, and deteriorating in the long term, as a few families hoard more and more wealth, and usually become more and more separation conscious as a result. This is a big part of what happened in America. And a green person will push for socialism or libertarianism, or a naive spiritual communal way of living. And it will fail at present because right now there are many lower consciousness people, and these systems don't handle them properly. People at the yellow stage also finally understand that theirs isn't the ultimate stage of consciousness, and that there are higher stages of consciousness still, which are about spiritual mastery. A yellow person isn't a spiritual master yet. So, these were the stages. So to summarize in brief, at red people are violent criminals, at blue people dogmatically label themselves as good, and everyone else as evil. At orange people are materialistic, scientific and individualistic. At green people are spiritually minded, and they believe that love is all you need, to the point where they're unwilling to stand up to bad actors. At yellow people integrate all the previous perspectives. At stages beyond yellow people become spiritual masters. Most people who receive this message are in the green stage of consciousness. To them, I would say, all you need is love isn't the ultimate truth, it's merely the green perspective. The more integrated, yellow perspective is that you need love, wisdom, and strength. And the wisdom and strength part means that you allow speech, except when it's directly harassing or personally attacking someone. And you allow actions, except things that are so disruptive or hostile or selfish that they ruin things for the majority of people. Note that people generally only evolve a stage of consciousness if they are smacked in the face with a realization that their current stage doesn't work. So if a violent criminal never faces repercussions for his actions, he's likely to remain a violent criminal. Why not? So this American left-wing idea that you should just let criminals go free doesn't work. And in fact you help red stage people by letting them face the consequences of their actions, because that's how they grow out of their current stage of consciousness. That said, preferably prison does offer people the opportunity to develop new skills, to become physically fit, and to connect with inspiring role models. If a blue person is allowed to personally attack others, or make everything about their cause, or harass people, if the blue person is allowed to do that, then why would he stop doing that? It's only when a blue person is told that he can't say anything, but only so long as he doesn't personally attack or harass others, that the blue person will encounter the friction that allows him to eventually get to a higher stage of consciousness. Telling people they can't say anything they want, but only in a non-aggressive, non-harassing non-personally attacking way isn't censorship at all. So, appropriately standing up to lower consciousness people doesn't just protect innocent people from them. It also helps the lower consciousness people grow themselves. As a metaphor, if parents are loving towards a child, but never correct the child, or set any boundaries, then the child may grow up to be a narcissistic bully. Whereas if the parents are loving towards the child, and also set boundaries, and correct it as appropriate, then likely the child will grow up to be well-adjusted. It's the same for adults. If there are no boundaries or consequences for adults, then the adults who are behaving negatively will continue to do so, and no amount of love and light will change that. Yes, you need love, but you also need boundaries and consequences for people violating those boundaries. The actual loving thing to do is to set firm boundaries, and not accept unacceptable behavior. Because that's what certain people need to grow to become better people. Plus this way innocents aren't harassed by them. So, I hope this was helpful. I love you so very much. And I wish you a very good week. Your star brother, Hakann. Note from the channeler, a good while ago, galactics and angels taught me that you need love, wisdom, and strength. And they taught me that many spiritual people only focus on love, and perhaps wisdom, and neglect, or are even in resistance to strength. I think that's ultimately an unbalanced way of being. In this message Hakann gave what I consider to be a realistic, positive, pro-strength, pro-wisdom message. And I also think that some only love people will not emotionally like this message. Your emotions are entirely valid. Whatever emotions come up in you are completely fine. There is no emotion that can possibly arise in you that is bad or evil or wrong or inappropriate. Yet, just because it's completely fine to have emotions, doesn't mean that emotions are an accurate guide to what is true. I invite you not to confuse this doesn't feel emotionally good with I am connecting to genuine intuition or guidance, and it is saying that this message is false. Anytime you are experiencing genuine intuition or guidance, please follow that over whatever anyone else says. However, people, including spiritual people, more often have emotional responses than genuine intuition. And some people label their emotional response as intuition. If someone says this doesn't resonate, or this doesn't align, then they might be guided by intuition, or they might be guided by emotions, and just dressing that up in spiritual language. And whether something feels emotionally good or not, doesn't determine whether a message is true or not. With that said, I hope that you enjoyed or benefited from this message. Have a good week. The Creators, an invitation from the Creators. We are the Creators. We are a 12th dimensional collective of non-physical beings, and we are here to help. We come to you in this moment as helpers, as guides, as teachers, but in other moments we come to you as pure energy that you can use to co-create with. We desire to be more a part of your creations, and we assist you at times with an inspired thought, an idea, an impulse. We don't just come to you through this particular channel with words of wisdom to share to you. We come to you in a variety of ways, and we are not alone. There are so many in the non-physical realms who are working with you and working through you, and when you realize that you have an external power source available to you, then of course you're more likely to tap into it. So today, we invite you to remember that you have all of us available to you as your co-creators. You are not alone in any of this, and you never have been. You have been able to give yourselves the feeling or the impression that you are alone, but it doesn't make that true. And now that you know that you have helpers, please do tune and call upon us. Allow us to co-create with you the version of your reality that you would like to experience. We are interested in that reality as well. We are co-creative by nature. We are a collective. We offer you the component, or the natural resource, that you don't have available to you in the physical. We offer you not only the non-physical energy, but also the thoughts, the inspirations, the ideas, and so on. So when you don't know what to do or what to create next, remember that you can simply relax, open up, and let in this non-physical energy, this consciousness, this collective, that is here for you all the time. We may not speak through you in the way that we speak through Daniel here, and that will be okay. That will be as it needs to be for anyone who doesn't speak for us, but you don't have to think of us as only teachers who have a limited scope in what we can offer you. We introduce ourselves to you in this way to let you know that you have helpers beyond number, beyond your imaginings, and we do have different specialities. We enjoy creating. And we know that your perspective on what needs to be created in the physical is a very important component to us in the non-physical, who aren't living exactly what you are living. And so you help us as we help you. We are the creators and we love you very much. Source: arrayofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.